So I told my therapist that I was going to open myself to the world, some stuff that is inside that I'm out, and some of that stuff is I understand you are busy. It's fine. The world is a complicated ecosystem of stuff with jobs and bills and stuff. I understand. Look at my room. It's also a complicated ecosystem of stuff. It's just uglier material stuff, not neat metaphysical stuff like capitalism. But um, there's this thing people say, you know, it's a false symmetry. Maybe that's not the term in English that you use for that. Then Google it and you will find it. It's when you say, for instance, that men also have bad representation of standards of their beauty in media because you have characters like Superman with Henry Cavill all buffed up and stuff. That's a false symmetry because that's not really expected of men to be like that, and that's more what men want from men and not what women want from men. And nobody has the non-binaries because basically they don't exist, I guess. Why don't? I'm not real. Uh, so full symmetry. I live in a country, Brazil, where a major election is coming this year, the end of the year. This beautiful moment of democracy, the game of the bourgeoisie, as the Marxists call it, or the one system that works, as the people who are too afraid of other systems call it. Um, is about to happen. The game of democracy, as I like to call it, because it's straight to the point. Democracy works? Nah. It's not really important if it works or not. It's just a thing that exists, and if you actively are not a part of it, you are helping to make it even worse. So you might as well vote, right? So my country right now, we have two candidates that can win and like a bunch of other nonsensical weirdos who have to pretend they think they are gonna win, but they just wanna the spotlight and also to uh engage with representing their parties to on the second referendum, second voting period, whatever, second turn of the election, whatever you call it in your country. It's the period after the first voting with multiple parties where only two of them keep the race because none of them have the majority of the votes. So those third parties, as they call themselves, they just want a spotlight in the first turn, the first round. So on the second round, they can make some noise, say they will be supporting candidate A, candidate B, whatever. It don't matter. To the Gomez doesn't matter. Lord knows Simone Tabit doesn't matter. Uh, who knows who will be the candidate of PSDB? I know it will not be Eduardo Leite. Good for him, I guess. Whatever. We have two cis white men, as white as Latin America goes, running for president that will probably win the election. Or in any way that matters, they will be sitting in the chair of the president of the republic in the next year. You have Bolsonaro. He is the winning candidate of the last election. He is the ruling president. Uh, he, you know, is a fascist piece of shit. He's responsible for the death of millions. Not by himself. He didn't kill all of them. He didn't sign a paper saying kill all of them. He just ignored all the advice from scientists and teachers and philosophers and mathematicians and nurses and PE teachers and dogs and whatever the fuck. He ignored everyone who wasn't a fucking politician from a right-wing conspiracy nutsack piece of shit. To tell him things would be fine, so it wasn't fine, and many people died. Also, yeah, kind of tried to kill a lot of people with a bomb, but that was in his youth, and that's not really a good merit to not elect a leader. Oh, he tried to use bomb to kill people when he was young, so therefore he must never be a part of politics. No, that's wrong. He should never be a part of politics because he's a fascist piece of shit. Building a bomb is not part of the issue. Believing he's better than other human beings and desiring for them to not be real in the material world anymore, and desiring for their deaths, and signing laws, passing bills that will enforce those deaths and will censor the rights of those people, is what makes him the bad candidate. The other candidate is Lula, also known as Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, from the Labour Party. Not the greatest of men, responsible for perpetuating the genocide of the indigenous people, just like Bolsonaro, except Bolsonaro made it somehow worse. Lula was just going for a ride. And, I'm not the greatest fan of the official partisanship left wing in Brazil. I think it's very bourgeoisie related, it's very slow. But my opinion is irrelevant. Face it with the fact that we have a monster. Well, monsters are not real, and we all know that, but what else am I supposed to call a garbage like Bolsonaro? We have that, and we have Lula. And some fuckers go on national television and regional cable news, go on their tweet page, their Instagram lives, their whatever the fuck they go, I don't care. They go there and they say, oh, both extremes are really bad. We don't want that in our country, no, sir. Those guys are a real piece of meanie. Yeah, really meanie. Really not good. We want the good ones, like the third party ones who may win. They have 10% of the votes. They might win. They might not. They probably won't. They really won't. But that's not even the part that burns me with rage. The part that burns me with rage is knowing that some fuckers go into believing that it's the same thing. One man from Labour Party, he works for Labour Party in original place. He's not a big national guy. He works inside the party. He's not a politician. It's his birthday party. He's there. Another cis white man in a relationship with a woman, might as well call him straight. I don't know his sexuality. It doesn't matter. He's now dead. He was celebrating his birthday. A Bolsonaro supporter ran into the room they were celebrating with a gun and a Bolsonaro song in the background and shot the man. In cold blood, he murdered him in front of his family. And those fuckers from the Bolsonaro party, Bolsonaro himself, his supporters, they're all going around and saying, oh, but the guy shot him back and that's not okay. And the guys at the party, they kicked his ass, that's not okay. Where were those defenders of human rights when it was young black men dying in the gutter of the favela, huh? Where were they? They don't care about human rights. They care about the optics of their politics. They care about pleasuring the caste of people who vote for them. They must say those kind of shit. I know they don't give a shit. I know they don't think those things. But fuck it. It's absurd, and no one is talking about this. No one is even looking at this. They don't give a damn about my country. My people, trans people, non-binary people are being murdered by the hundreds officially, by the thousands unofficially. I have 6 more years in this land, in this country, until I reach the top of the death age. I don't know how you call that. I don't care. It's not relevant. 35 years is not much. In this country murders a lot of LGBT people, but it also murders 1/3 of the trans people who are murdered in the world. I don't mean die. I don't mean car accident. I don't mean I mean murder. I mean a man is stabbing a woman 37 times and then carving her belly, her thorax, and removing her heart out of rage. That's unusual. I don't mean an unusual. I mean it is a regular, a common crime that happens to trans women. Every trans person, every non-binary person, be them white, be them black, be them brown, be them indigenous, be them native to this land, they know people who have been murdered, who have died, who have been forced into prostitution against their will. Yeah, some people choose. Not those people. They didn't choose. They were forced because their family kicked them out and refused to acknowledge their name. And and we don't have basic rights here. I don't mean basic human rights. I mean basic rights. I am fighting in court to get people to call me by my name that I want, that I chose. Some people get to change their name because fuck you, like Lula. People just called him Lula. That was his nickname, and now it's his name. It's in his birth certificate and everything. Did his mom and pa said, "Oh well, this is baby Lula"? No, they fucking didn't. So why don't I get the same right? Why don't every trans person, most cis people, can change their name? It happens every time a woman gets married. A cis woman gets married, she can change her name. An 18-year-old cis person can change their name. But if you're trans, nope de do. Wanna go to the bathroom? Think clearly if you wanna go to the bathroom. Because one of them, you will be read as a threat. People will be afraid of you and will treat you like a threat, which will lead to escalation of violence that could end up with you harmed because you wanted to take a shit. Or you could be on the other bedroom where you could be murdered. Or, just beat the shit out of you, but you remain alive. Or you could be raped. Or you could be, ignited in flames and killed for everyone that is shopping. I'm sorry, this is how we Brazilians call them all. For you Luzonians. Um, for all the people at the malls, you see. So, yeah. Great! Or you could piss yourself or shit yourself in a way to clean yourself at home. It's always the best option, in my opinion. When they did the census to check out data of the population, people of Brazil, they will not, or they wanted not to, ask for gender identity because, and it is a logical conclusion, that it could put bad people in a bad spot. Like asking a transgender teenager, "Are you trans? What is your gender identity?" And their uber Christian parents are on their side and they have lied. That's not great. That's not ideal. But just because something is not ideal doesn't mean you shouldn't ask. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Because most people don't live in that scenario, especially most trans people don't live in that scenario. We need to number trans people so we can make public laws, so we can pass laws that protect us and deal with us in a scenario like this. I don't want to live in this land anymore. I love my country. I love my state. I love my city. I love my culture. I love drinking chimarrão. I love eating aioli. I love eating bergamota in the sun in the park. I love all those fucking trees in every road. There, every tourist is like, "Wow, that's a lot of trees," and I'm like, "Yeah, that is a lot of trees actually." I love it, but I can't stand it any longer. I just can't stand it any longer. We are dying by the minute. Women, a child was forced to carry a baby in her head, in her belly. I'm sorry. A child. A 10-year-old child. And this is not America. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you Americans, but in Brazil, abortion is legal in the case of incest, in the case of rape, and, in the case it is detrimentary to the health of the quote unquote mother. Also, some other cases that are not relevant now, like microcephalia, or wherever you pronounce it in English. Microcephalia. So, a 10-year-old kid who got raped is pretty much a combo of all of the reasons you could legally do an abortion in Brazil, and the judge said, "But don't you want to keep it just a couple more weeks? Just so we can hand it for adoption, because if we abort it now, we have to take the baby who is living from inside of you and watch it die because it can't breathe. So it will try to breathe until it dies. Like it's a fucking fish? Are you... I hope that judge is dumb and not just emotionally and intellectually dishonest, which is probably the truth, but I hope not. I don't want that. I prefer to think she's a judge on our judicial system and just happen to not understand biology. It would make sense and be a better world to be alive. A better world, mind you, where a child had to remain pregnant and be removed from her mother because said mother wanted to pursue a legal abortion that our constitution guarantees in 1988. This place is going to shatter, and you're not looking, you're not hearing. Every place is it's burning. The world is burning. There's war going on everywhere. And you're picking sides. Don't pick a fucking side. Stop picking sides. Understand, a side is not what you should pick. You should pick your mental weapons. You should march on victory. You should try to solve the issues at hand. People are dying. Children are being taken from their parents. People are fleeing their countries and looking for better places to live. I'm trying to flee my country to a better place to live because the place I love is trying to kill me. There are more armed people as citizens, private citizens who vote for Bolsonaro than there are armed soldiers in my country. Even if the armed forces was 100% pro-democracy, every fucking soldier, and they would die for us. Even if we lived in this amazing paragon of an army, they wouldn't stand a chance. Now imagine you live in a country where there's an abundance of firearms everywhere, except for left-wing people, because they have a moral point of view where it is bad. They don't want it. I don't want a fucking gun. I don't want to carry a gun. I don't want to have a gun. I don't like guns. If you like a gun and you're an American, congratulations for you and your fucking indoctrination into believing having a weapon able to kill a life and seize it from existing in this planet is safe and good for you because someone else might have it. It's not at all the same thing as carrying a nuclear weapon because another country has it. No, it's not at all the same thing. On other brighter news, I'm kidding, it's not bright at all. If by chance President Lula ex-president Lula becomes next president because he wins the election, there will be a civil war. If a straight cis white man surrounded by his fucking family can be murdered by cold blood, what does that mean to me? I'm nobody. I don't work at a major political party. I don't have a great job. I barely have a job if you call freelancing or begging scrapes of money from people from the north because their currency is 5 times bigger, better than mine. And then when they give me $1, I can buy lunch, a job. Then yeah, I have a job. But it's not the kind of job that can save me from this hellish apocalyptic land called Brazil. So yeah. This is an SOS, in case you don't understand. This is an SOS. My country is dying. The planet is burning. And I don't want you to feel sad. Fuck sadness. I'm so fucking tired. I'm so fucking tired. You people going around hitting about things in social networks and praising movies that talk about bad things that are happening, like global warming and the COVID pandemic and the response by bad governments and war. Talking? You think talking will make a difference? It will not make a difference. This is not making a difference, is it? It won't make a fucking difference. Nothing I do will make a difference. Because I'm a fucking individual, and individual power is irrelevant in the great scheme of things. Only the collective has the power. That's the balance, don't you understand? They have more power than us. Thus, they act as individuals with the power of the collective. We as the collective must retaliate. We must tell them, this is our land. This is the land of the people. The power emanates from the people in every system. It is in the book of socialism and the book of capitalism. The book of the crazy ass fucking cosmonauts. Anarcho-capitalists. The power emanates from the people. So why do we let a fucking elite decide what to do for us? Why do we let anyone decide for us? Why are we letting they destroy our lives and murder children in cold blood? You don't like abortions? Don't do one. You don't think other people should be allowed to make an abortion? Disseminate your opinion. Try to convince people. Force them into not having an abortion. Come on, fuck you, man. You're better than that. You have to be. You're a human. Why do you think we call the human thing to do? Because we have an ideal. We have a great fucking ideal, actually, about helping others. Trying to make a difference in building a better place. I completely understand we'll not get there. That's fine. But a fantastical, metaphysical idea of a better place that we can build is the perfect compass for us to go forward instead of staying here, lying down, and fucking rotting.